Hi guys, Gavin Little from Little IT here, bringing you another useful and informative video, proudly brought to you in partnership with Hello Business Workshop and Events. So today I'm going to provide an instructional video, pretty similar to what I did previously with Zoom. But today's session is going to be on getting you started with Microsoft Teams. So I'll talk a little bit about Microsoft Teams and what you need to use Teams. We'll have a look at the available plans and options, and I'll show you where to go to set up a Teams account. We'll look at how we can use Teams and also where we can go to download the Teams app. And then most importantly, we'll show you how to join a meeting. Now, as previously mentioned with Zoom, it's important to take your time and get yourself set up a few days prior to the workshop to make sure that everything is working as it should. So what is Teams? So Teams is a collaboration and video conferencing tool. The key difference between a Zoom product and a Teams product is Teams is built around collaboration and incorporating video conferencing within that, whereas Zoom is more the other way around, where it was built as a conferencing tool, then added additional features to create collaboration within that same tool. So it is really important to note that Teams is so much more than just a video conferencing tool. It's a tool where you can collaborate actively via sending notes, storing files, creating teams of people specifically for projects or tasks. And it's a one-stop shop for storing information for those tasks or projects. What do you need to use Teams? Well, as per Zoom, you need a desktop computer, a laptop or notebook or tablet. You need a camera and microphone, and most importantly, you need internet. So the Teams plans. So if you go to this address or jump on Google and do a search for Microsoft Teams plans compare, because it'll bring up the comparing option, which I'll take you to now. So as you can see, like Zoom, there is a free version of Microsoft Teams. Again, that version is limited like Zoom, and when you go to this particular page, you'll be able to see exactly what you get for your plans. Now, as I mentioned, Microsoft Teams is a collaboration tool, and it forms part of the greater Microsoft Office 365. Now, with Office 365, you get a lot more than what you do just utilizing Teams. You get your Microsoft Office suite like Word, Excel, PowerPoint. You get a file storage tool, OneDrive, which allows you to store your documents and access those documents anywhere, anytime. Very similar to a Dropbox or a Box kind of solution. What you also get as part of your Microsoft Office 365 plan is a business grade Exchange email account. So as you can see, when you look at going beyond the Microsoft Teams free account, you're going into a very different space in terms of what you get for your subscription. So it's really important to check these out, and for any businesses out there, I would highly recommend checking out Microsoft 365 as a fantastic business tool. It's certainly something that I utilize and take advantage of. So how do we utilize Teams? Well, again, it's very similar to Zoom in that you can use Teams within a web client or browser, being Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox or Microsoft Edge, or you can download the desktop client. Now, through the browser, you don't need a Teams account. You can access a Teams meeting via the browser without having to create an account, same as Zoom. With the desktop client though, To utilize a desktop client, you must log in, which means you must have an account. Some really important things to note is before and during the workshop, there is an etiquette when participating in a video conferencing session, whether it be Zoom or Teams or Google Meets. As I said before, setting up your camera and testing Teams before the workshops, making sure everything works as it should, so you're not going to be surprised when it's your turn to talk and you turn your microphone on or you unmute it and all of a sudden they can't hear you. Have a clean and plain background, so don't have anything in the background that's going to distract the other participants. Don't have direct light onto your camera because it's just going to be a very bright and white light for other people. And make sure you've got some good light on your face. So again, when you're testing your camera, make sure that you have good light in your room and that you are easily visible. During the workshop, mute your microphone when you're not talking. And that removes any unwanted background noise. There's nothing worse than someone sitting there taking notes and their microphone isn't muted and everyone else can hear the keyboard typing away. And sit still. Don't move around. If you have to move around, turn your camera off. So mute your microphone, turn your camera off. There's no distractions for other people then. But just remember that you have your microphone muted and your camera is turned off. Okay, so now let's jump into a Teams meeting. So what you should have received is an email notification to requesting you to a Teams meeting. Now within that notification, there will be a link. The link is going to look very much like this. Once you click on the link within your invitation, it will open up in your browser here. If you have Microsoft Teams installed, it will ask if you want to open up Microsoft Teams within the application. In this particular case, as I mentioned, and in a lot of people's cases, you won't have a Microsoft Teams account or an Office 365 account. So we cancel here and we select the option continue in this browser. Now what you might get is a notification requesting for your browser to access your microphone and camera. So make sure you click allow, and this is why it's really important to test these things prior to the meeting. So if we select allow, now depending on your antivirus or computer security solution, you may have to allow access to that as well. As you can see in this example, all I have to do is click allow access because it's notified me that Google Chrome is trying to access my webcam. And now we are ready to join our Teams meeting. So the first thing I would do here, as I suggested before, is to mute my microphone. And that way when we join the meeting, we're not going to be distracting anything that's going on at that point in time. But just be prepared to unmute your microphone to introduce yourself to the host and others. To mute your mic, just click here. The other thing you can do as well is turn off your video. And that way, when you first join the meeting, you can see what's happening before you turn your video back on. And it might be at the request of the host also to have your video turned off. So to turn your video off, all we do is click here and our video is turned off. So now we're ready to join. The first thing we need to do is put our name here before we join the meeting. Now it's important to put the name that will be recognized by the host. I have heard in the past that people just put a name or a nickname or whatever they like. The host needs to be able to recognize who you are so they know whether they should be admitting you to the meeting or not. So we type in our name and we're ready to go. All we do now is click join. Now at this point in time, All we have to do is wait for the host to join the meeting and admit us to the meeting. You have now joined the meeting. So as you can see, we have now joined the meeting. So now that we've been admitted and joined the meeting, we can turn our camera back on. So to turn the camera back on, just click here. Now our video will appear in the meeting and it will show on your screen down at the bottom right corner. And as mentioned, once you're ready to join the conversation, just click on the unmute microphone and away you go. So a couple of things to note while you're in the meeting is if you would like to make a comment or contribute somehow, there's an option of raise your hand. If you click on this icon here, it will notify the host that you would like to contribute, and that way he can actually then prompt you to contribute to the conversation. And the reason why this has been recently added is to stop the over talking and multiple people trying to talk at once to contribute to the conversation. There's also another option of show conversation. Now this will bring up a meeting chat option on the right hand side, as you can see here, and that's where you can type messages. So sometimes it's more useful and effective to type a message in there, but just be prepared that that message can be seen by everyone within that Teams meeting. If you're having any issues with your camera or mic, all you do is click on More Actions here, go up to Show Device Settings, and this will bring up your device settings on the right hand side. Now here you can see which particular device you're actually using. So some people might have an internal camera on their laptop as well as an external camera that they prefer to use, or some people might have a headset and microphone. So this is a good place to go just to do a bit of troubleshooting and first have a look at what actual devices your Teams is trying to use. If all else fails, you can exit the meeting, restart your computer, get back in and then rejoin. But before you do that, might be best just to shoot a quick note to your host to let them know you'll be rejoining soon because of technical difficulties. Once you're ready to exit the meeting, all you do is click on the big red hang up button and you'll exit the meeting. So thanks guys, hopefully this has been useful and easy to follow, and good luck and all the best to a successful team meetings.